Hello, my name is UK Screeny. This video is going to be about my new layout, Canal side factory or Canal side. This board shows what I'm going to do with the water. This is yacht varnish over some black paint. You can see it looks quite good. And this is Canal side. These are all that's off Phoenix Works and it won't be used on here. I'll need to build something else to go over here. I drew some very nice pictures of the building I was planning to put over here, but when I built the layout it didn't seem to fit properly and I quite fancied having the hole on it anyway, so I changed it. I've done some ballast in here and obviously painted this black. This effect here will be continued slightly along to here, so you'll have the wood along that bit. That will just have the brick with the wood on, with the bits on top there. Then it changes into a metal retaining bit, and now that'll be darkened down a bit, I think. I'm not quite sure. I think I'm going to ballast this initially. I'm going to ballast it all initially and then put the clay down afterwards. The only place I'm not going to put ballast in is along at the back here, because that's part of the factory entrance anyway, so it doesn't really matter about it not being ballasted. So just put this clay down and just put it smooth this time, no cobbles. It is with its both sections together. There is one section that is 3 foot and the other is in 3 pieces, and that's 3 foot but it's in 3 pieces. This is I guess around 6 feet in total, with a third section of the other half, which is down there. This is the traverser at the end, which has still got everything's got to be wired in properly. But I can do the front bit of the layout because I know there's not going to be anything that changes. But I need to get a canal boat first. I don't want to put the water down without having a canal boat in. But there's nice little angles. It's actually quite nice to look at. This end is the best, obviously, because it's got stuff on it at the moment, and the other end has got stuff hasn't got anything. This building's actually too tall. This is off Phoenix Works. All the buildings will have to be about the top of my finger on this, because it folds over onto itself for storage and being moved. Eventually I might either put a board at the end or build a whole new a little section and have a bridge. So the plan is just to have this track as a through track eventually, and have like a road running in front of low profile buildings at the back there. There'll be a gateway around here somewhere. But, that's about the height of the bridge. It'll be up there, so it'll be quite high above the canal. I was going to put a bridge at that end, but it doesn't really need it. I don't think it'll look silly. I've already started putting some of the green stuff on the front here, and did the ballasting the other night. I've had to cut down the Holt building in the front of the Holt, so it's a little bit narrower than the kit was when it first came to me. It's because the King has like enormous cylinders and they catch on everything, and I wanted to make sure that I could run anything, so these are cut out to the height of the pantographs on the Pendolino in case it becomes part of a loop or something in the future. So everything could be kept at a nice high height on the kind of through line. It won't matter so much about the entrance to the factory, but on the through line I need to keep the heights At the moment I have a control panel. She's kind of just held on by strings and wire. That's mainly because I don't I'm going to build it into the top of this section here, but I need to get some more timber and it will slot in basically on the top of that, so it'll be up there. But I need to figure out some the wiring. I've already got little spade connectors for the traverser and for some of the wires that have to go board to board, but most of the ream wire that comes from here will need a quick release system into the main board. So multi-pins eventually, but at the moment they're just wired into terminal blocks underneath the board. You can see them, there they are, and there's wires running down to the 2 tracks at that end, and wires running through that hole in the centre there, the 2 tracks in there. Now it's too early to think about what I'm going to be doing regarding other scenic things, like whether it will ever have lights. I think I'm going to, ballast with this brown stuff. It can always be washed over with an acrylic, watered down acrylic. I don't quite like the bright orange, but at the moment I quite like it. I know everything's meant to be grey, but I don't like grey. Sorry. The Canal is brown. I decided on brown because I had a tube of paint, tube of brown acrylic paint which needed using, and I didn't have a vast quality of dark green, so it's going to be brown, and it actually it creates a better contrast between that and the wall than the green would, which you normally see in canals. So it's a bit of what I want it rather than what's really going on in the world, but that don't matter, it's my railway. All these sections, and I've put quickly explain the wiring system. See, there's if you can make out that there's different sections, and these pins, these switches are on, off, on. The first one controls this track here up until the end of the point at the back, and the other side on the front controls a small isolating section here, which means I can run locos in and have a train come up and take them off into the factory, which is very useful, especially with the smallest of the layout. The second switch controls a feed into the back siding where the factory warehouse is, or it disappears into the factory warehouse, and obviously the other side of that switch controls this front bit. The traverser will have its own independent switch, and probably will need there's going to be 2 tracks off the traverser on the other side, which will probably need another on, off, on switch to control those wires. So at the moment it's trying to find the right wiring setup, right way to link the boards together. Eventually there'll be multi-bins, but just for the sake that I've got most of the stuff and I don't really want to spend that much money on it at the moment, they'll all be put onto multi-pins at a later date, and they'll be put on they'll be put into terminal blocks at the moment. But it does run obviously on the switches I've got on that board now. I'm just looking for the little tripod, which every time I come to do a video disappears, which is magic. So I'll just hold it. You see, this is a little pug. So I've just been messing with the switches, so I don't know where it's going to go. It's going to derail at that point because I haven't switched over. Because it's not wide up, it's just on the fish plates, the traverser at the moment, it won't go onto the traverser. it did work for a while, but then the fish plates obviously opened up a bit and it failed. So let's just send it down the front track, shall we? The head shunt on the right hand siding, or the right hand siding, which will be the through line eventually, is just long enough to get you know, the big locos in. And I can show you the isolation in process. I'm going to just uncouple that so I can bring that up to the front of the train I've just moved. So let's move that one along the back. Apologies if it hits anything. The track needs cleaning. I've misplaced my track rubber, which is a bit silly. That one as well, so derail, and that's up the top, and turn that one down here. Now normally, obviously, if you're not on DC to control, if I swing that switch over, it would move both the Jinty and the pug, but because it's not, because of the isolation section in the middle at the end, it will allow you to move the train away without any problem if it had a couple on, but this is a very old coach and it doesn't. So magical turntable in the sky, and then you'll find that the dapole couple does not line up with the backman couple, and this bit was completely a waste of time. It will just catch on there. For uncoupling, I'm just going to use the Pico uncoupling ramps. And you'll see the train come out, and just for fun we'll drive that train back up to where it came from, up where the Jinty came from, and where the through line will be, and you'll be able to see where the through line, what the through line would look like. If I'll switch the switch right. And it just goes around there. Well, this is Canal Works. Comment. I know I've rambled a bit in the video. I don't really know what to talk about because it's quite a small layout. And yeah, this is just cardboard, crinkled cardboard. My camera is actually telling me it's overheating, so anyone who's got a camera in this heat, that would be fun. Overheated camera, so I'm going to have to turn it off anyway.